fighting games are more popular than they ever were right now, with extremely high-profile releases either in development just around the corner or out right now, like Guilty Gear Strive, Street Fighter 6, and Tekken 8. It literally only stands to reason that a lot of people new to the genre and community are going to choose these games as their starting point. And hopefully, if you're watching this, you're one of those people, and I assume you're wondering, looking from the outside in, is it worth it to get into fighting games? Absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. I wouldn't be making this video otherwise if it. As someone who's picked up fighting games in 2021, so just shy of 2 years if you count the exact date, I can tell you without exaggeration or embellishment, by the way, that fighting games themselves and even just being a part of the community that surrounds them has brought me more happiness and joy than anything else I've put my hours into hobby-wise. And as for the games themselves, I could spend this entire video delving into as to why these types of games are addictive as they are, but for the sake of the video, I don't think I can do that. While I can sit and talk, and I can talk for a while to the camera about the pros of getting involved in this community, it is very hard to get into. Like, I remember looking at the competitive world of games like Smash Brothers and Tekken, and while I was interested and curious about playing them, I always thought that it wasn't for me, it's too much hard work, and I'd probably suck anyway. This video is intended for those types of people. People who've been looking up at the mountain, for lack of a better term, and have been thinking about climbing it, and I want to make this video for those people in hopes of giving them the helping hand up there that I wish I had getting into this hobby. So, in service of that, I've put a loose guide into place about how you can get into fighting games without being too overwhelmed. Yeah, I know, we're starting off with a pretty obvious point, but an important one nonetheless. Your drive and your desire to get into fighting games is going to be the thing that carries you through the challenging stuff. If you're just curious about the community or games at this point in time, there are things you can do to gradually get yourself into it, and a good place to start there is to watch some tournament sets.
On the turn in on the dash, backdashing, expecting the escape, anything's gonna do it for Ion.
Gets another one, doesn't get anything off of it.
No,
it looks like Juicer's round right now, and he doesn't! He pulls it off! This was the thing that got me into fighting games, and still is one of my favourite things to do. It's very entertaining to watch these stream games, be it the top pros in a game pushing it to its absolute limits, or some more casual, lower stakes events. One of the best examples I could give you for a set, or sets to watch, is Lil Margin's entire EVO 2018 run.
What capital punishment over the Replucan!
Lil Margin is an American Tekken player in a scene at the time historically and consistently to this day dominated by Korean and Japanese pros. It's a mixture of an underdog on his home turf, playing a character with some of the flashiest moves in the game, and it takes place on the biggest stage in the world for the scene. I could argue that clips from some of these sets are some of the most entertaining clips to watch in the whole of esports. But when you start to watch these games, it's not just about the players and what they're doing in the game. Hearing the people at the venue and the commentators get excited and cheer and start a pop-off for massive moments like that will help you understand what's going on and what to look for and to pay attention to. But if you want to relax and watch some more insightful, introspective videos on what exactly makes these games and their communities tick, there are channels like Core Gaming and Theory Fighter. It also might be good to follow some players or streamers on Twitch and Twitter. There are a lot of interesting streams and funny clips out there that are going to make you want to play even more.
Is he going to high-five anyone? I don't think he will.
I knew it! Hey, give that! Clip that right away!
Nago, Happy Chaos, Ram players, any of those players pop off after they should be banned from future events. Winning a 2 matchup doesn't mean shit! Fuck, I'm salty!
Much like any niche or hobby that people get into in current year, there'll be a lot of jokes and a lot of terminology that you won't understand going in. And that's okay, that's nothing to worry about. You'll end up picking it up soon enough through context clues, or if you're really stuck, infill.net has a very good fighting game glossary. There's an explanation on most, if not all, of the terminology there. Now, this next step revolves around two questions that I find a lot of people who are fighting game curious end up asking at some point or another. What should I play, and who should I play? And the answer to that question is literally anything that catches your attention. Do you like the bone-crunching satisfaction of Mortal Kombat? Do you like the hard rock aesthetic of Guilty Gear? Or do you love the art style and animation of Grand Blue? I could go on forever about this. You need to follow your heart on this. Look at the gameplay trailers, the guides, watch some big matches. Whatever game or character makes you feel that motivation, that drive to play, is the one that you should pick up. For me, it was the rock music and the flashy animation that gravitated me towards Guilty Gear Strive. Its animation style, the rock aesthetic, the announcer literally saying "let's rock" in lieu of a normal round start made me go, I want to do that. Before I learned to understand the game, to understand strike throw mix-ups and okizeme, I saw Gold Lewis doing this. And then I saw Potemkin doing this.
I will not let go! Heavenly Potemkin! Perfect!
You have to find your access point. Do you like rock music? Nasty gore? Are you an anime fan? There's a game for everyone out there. The answer that you need to take on board when it comes to questions like these is literally play whoever or whatever you think grabs your attention and looks cool to you. Like I've said before, your enthusiasm to get into a game or to learn a specific character is going to be the well that you draw the motivation from to grind combos and to learn the difficult stuff in how that character plays. And please don't fall into the mistake of picking up the Ryu of a game to learn the basics, unless that's who you want to play in the end. For example, when I started Guilty Gear Strive, I picked up Potemkin, because he's a big buff muscle man with a big grab, and I love that kind of character. But he's pretty difficult to learn, and as a grappler, he approaches combat in a very different way from the rest of the cast. But I liked him. And I liked how he looked, I liked how his moves felt, I loved his design. And that gave me the motivation to stick to it and put in the extra work of learning how to play him. Don't let any tier lists you see or any meta discussions dissuade you from who you want to play early on. Pick who you think is cool. I literally cannot say that enough. Now that you've picked a game and a character, it's time to get into it. You will have to go into training mode and mess around with them, throw some buttons out, see what they do, and try to hit a combo. Overall, just familiarise yourself with the character that you've chosen. But I can't go into depth on this subject on account of the video's length already. But what I can do is point you in the right direction. There are tons of beginner and advanced guides on YouTube and on sites like Reddit and Discord for the game and character of your choice. If you look into a game online, you'll also find that there's a lot of written resources and guides that'll depend on the game that you've chosen. Guilty Gear and various other Arc System Works fighting games have detailed guides on dustloop.com. A lot of tech and info is in Google spreadsheets that you can find with a 5-minute search on Reddit. Figuring out where the community for your game lives online is literally just a simple Google search away. This can be some of the most fun that you have while playing fighting games. The fighting game community is the name that it goes by, but it's more of just a general term. There are hundreds, maybe even thousands of Discord communities out there for fighting games. Some you'll find character specific, some you'll find a game specific, some maybe cater to a certain skill level. The list goes on really. It's up to you to do some searching, be it on Google or Twitter, to find the one that works for you. Whether it's people that you meet through these communities, or maybe just your own group of friends, playing fighting games against other people that you know is extremely fun.
I fucking hate this man. I'm going to kill him.
But I don't want you to just take my word for it. I've gathered a few of the friends that I've met through our shared hobby of fighting games, and I've asked them to give some advice, some words of wisdom, if you will, for people like you who are looking to get into this hobby, and hopefully you'll find some of it useful.
My advice for a new player would, number one, be don't be afraid to interact with people in the community. One of the biggest blockers when I was trying to get into fighting games was me feeling like, because I'm new and because I don't know enough, I shouldn't be talking with people in the community, I should be scared of everyone. That is a complete lie. It is so far from the truth. Most people will just be happy that you're giving their niche hobby a go at all. There'll be lots of people willing to give you advice so that you keep playing the game with them, and everyone's just super nice. There's very few bad people. I've had very few bad experiences with people in the FGC. Everyone's really nice. So yeah, don't be afraid at all. Just dive straight in. Also, don't be scared to enter tournaments, and don't worry about your performance, especially earlier on. There's beginner brackets you can play in if you want to play against people at your sort of starting skill level, but whether you decide to join a bigger bracket with everyone or just a beginner bracket or anything in between, take your first couple of tournaments as a chance to just see if playing competitively really is for you, and if it's not, that's completely fine. Lastly, it will be go to offline events if you can. If you have a locals, if you can see if you can track down a locals in your area, go to those. They're amazing, and they're a pillar of the community, and you get to meet a bunch of wonderful people. If there's a major near you or a bigger tournament like Versus Fighting, which happens in Birmingham every year, go to that. They're amazing. You get to meet so many wonderful people, you make so many great friends, and fighting games. The FGC is a community, after all, so playing fighting games in person with the community is the most fun you can have, so definitely go give that a go. And finally, just have fun with it. It's a game at the end of the day, so just go in, play with no expectations. Don't go in expecting yourself to be amazing, just go in and have fun, and yeah, that's it. I hope to see you in one of my brackets one day, and yeah, catch you in a bit.
Hi, my name's Firestar, also Lucas E. I am with Swansea Esports, have been for 3 years now. I used to be with a group called Volpine Esports, and I also work with Esports Wales as part of the Tekken 7 coaching for international teams, as well as running events every year and commentating. So I've been asked what my advice is for new players. What advice would I give to players just starting out online? I'd have to say, don't be afraid to suck, and that's really harsh wording, right? If you're new, you're like, oh, you know, just don't be afraid to suck. Everyone goes into hobbies, skills, talents, everything with some form of expectation, and when you go into hobbies, you know, like drawing, or you go into playing guitar or something like that, you might pick it up the first time you think, oh, I'm really bad at this, because every day you see people that are really talented at these instruments, and you know already it takes a lot of time to get good at guitar, or it takes a lot of time to get good at drawing, but you might play a video game, you might pick it up, and you might just have an ego already without expecting it, right? You know, you might just buy a new game like Call of Duty or something on the shelf, play a game online with a group of people, expect to do well, or maybe just do okay, and you know, you feel good about yourself, you feel like you're nice at it. Fighting games are a little bit different. Not only are they one-on-one, but they have a different control scheme likely to anything you ever played, so just expect to suck, and don't be scared at sucking. It's completely okay. You know, it's a product of time to get better at things. Just don't be, and this applies to anything you ever want to learn, don't be afraid to be bad. You will only be bad for, you know, a few weeks, maybe a month, depending on how much time you put in. But everyone goes through it, everyone's been through it, I went through it, look at me now. You know, I've been involved with 3 different esports organisations, including the official esports organisation of Wales, the country. So don't worry about it.
You may be here at the end of the video thinking, well, what do I do now? But I'm going to cap off this video with some of my own thoughts on that. One of the exciting and, quite frankly, I feel intimidating aspects of fighting games is that there's no theoretical end to it. There's no final boss, there's no post-game to play, and even the best player in the world is only that until they're beaten. No matter how experienced you are when it comes to fighting games, it'll always feel like, in some way, that you're still at the start. That means maybe you won't know what to do next, but it also means that you won't ever fall behind. And I believe that as long as you're playing, learning the games that you play, and are having fun at it, you're on the right track.